Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is Tausif, and it's a pleasure to be back with a new live stream. And I'm going to be discussing good news. Good news regarding international trade, which is a huge priority of the Trump administration and the American people. International trade. We want fair trade, right? That's the key. I mean, you can do trade, but if it's not fair, what's the point? Has to be fair trade. My friends, as you are tuning in, please make sure that you are subscribing. These days, I set the live streams and not the live stream, but the live chat. I put it in subscriber only mode so that only subscribers, people who subscribe and stay subscribed for at least 2 minutes, only they will be able to participate in the live chat. Okay, so what that does is it helps prevent a lot of spam comments. Okay, I mean, although it's a pretty low threshold, 2 minutes, but still it helps filter out some of the unnecessary spam comments. Um, because a lot of folks who want to write spam comments, that they don't want to subscribe, they don't want to wait for 2 minutes. I know it's just 120 seconds, but they don't want to do that. So anyway, if you are tuning in, please make sure that you subscribe to be a part of this meaningful conversation that we have. Okay. And also like this video, share this video. I would appreciate that very, very much. Okay. That's how you can support this channel. And we have our friends here. We have Frank, we have Kay Cooper, Frank from Florida, Kay Cooper from Texas. We have the Journey to Justice. That's our friend. That's our friend Rachel from Waukesha. And then we have Bree from Michigan. Bree, so wonderful to see you. Okay, who else? Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. My friends, please remember that we're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Okay, that'll be our immediate goal, short-term goal, 20,000 subscribers, and then we're going to grow beyond that. But for now, 20,000 subscribers. So help us reach that goal, okay, with your subscription, with your like, with your share, okay? All right, my friends, there has been a major development in international relations, as I stated earlier. But before I go into the details of what that trade deal is, international, I see I already mentioned trade deal. I'm going to be talking about a trade deal. But before I go into the discussion, I just want to say that whenever you're trying to achieve something, whenever you're trying to accomplish something, whenever you're trying to reach a goal, there will always be a lot of positive voices. People who will say, you can do it. People who will say, keep up the great work. People who will say, we're with you. We're supporting you. Go ahead, move forward. Good luck, best wishes, praying for you, supporting you. You are going to hear a lot of positive messages from the well-wishers, okay? But then there's also going to be there'll also be the negative forces, the negative voices, people who are jealous, people who are, not well wishers, people who don't want to see you succeed, people who will try to create barriers to stop you, people who will try to, discourage you from moving forward, people who will highlight all the negative stuff. They'll amplify the barriers, they'll amplify the challenges instead of saying, no matter how big the challenges are, you can do it. Rather than saying that, rather than sending you a positive message, the negative voices, the negative forces will try to slow you down. So whatever you're trying to do, you will likely get two different kinds of voices talking to you. you'll see two different kinds of people: those who will spread positive message and those who will try to inject negative energy into the process. So, why am I saying that? Because we are witnessing that right now, and we have been for a long time. President Trump came into office. He started his second term in office with a lot of goals, a lot of objectives, a lot of things that he announced that he wants to accomplish, especially when it comes to international trade, especially when it comes to the global economy and international relations. He has objectives, he has goals, there are things he wants to accomplish. And in a nutshell, all I can tell you is he wants to ensure fair trade. We do a lot of trade with countries around the world, but when you analyze those trade relationships, you're going to see that in a lot of those bilateral trade relationships, we're losing. Okay. We have deficits. We have huge trade deficits. We're losing. And so President Trump came into office hoping to fix those problems, hoping to address those issues. And immediately we started hearing the positive voices and the negative voices. Those who started saying, President Trump, you can do it. We are with you. Let's make America strong again. Let's make America great again. Let's make America wealthy again. So we heard all those positive voices. A lot of good people, honest people, praying for President Trump and praying for the Trump team, his cabinet, praying for the Trump allies, praying for our representatives who are helping negotiate trade deals. A lot of positive messages started pouring in, but then we saw the negative forces too. People in the mainstream media world, people who don't want to see Trump succeed, people who want to slow down the Trump administration and the America First agenda. People who don't want to see the people's administration succeed. It's not the Trump administration. I mean, yes, it is the Trump administration, but I think the best way to describe the Trump administration is to say that it's the people's administration. It's the administration of the American people. But we saw in the media, not everyone, there are so many good people, good commentators, good journalists, good reporters, honest people working in the media, absolutely. But we saw a lot of negative forces in the media. We saw a lot of negative forces among the Democrats in Washington and among the left-wing groups. We saw how they expressed their doubt about President Trump's ability to negotiate trade deals, how they tried to point out his flaws, even when there were no flaws, because these things take time. If President Trump set a deadline and then later he moved the deadline, a lot of the voices on the left, they kind of pointed that out and said, oh, now he's moving the deadline. Oh, he's not successfully negotiating. Oh, why is he changing his mind? I mean, those things are normal. Yes, we set deadlines, but we have to be flexible, especially if we see that there's positive development taking place. But you know what? We need more time. It happens all the time. If you're running a business and you're negotiating with maybe the suppliers, the distributors, the retailers, whatever, you're in business and you mark a date on the calendar and you decide, by this date, I'm going to try to accomplish something, or I'm going to try to, sign a deal, but something else happens. And now you have to move the date by a week. So what? So what? As long as you're making progress, you have to be flexible. Nothing is set in stone. No, no. Even after an agreement is signed, there can be amendments. Now, I'm speaking in general terms. I'm not saying in international trade. There can be amendments, right? Evelyn is here. Evelyn, so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Evelyn, our friend from Las Vegas, is here. Evelyn, thank you. So you have to be flexible, and that is what President Trump did. He was always flexible. Yes, he's firm. He makes it very clear what he wants to accomplish, what the terms and conditions are. But then he's a negotiator, he's a deal maker. He has to be flexible. But every time he changed a deadline, he moved a date, or he announced tariffs and then he suspended the tariffs or paused the tariffs, the people on the left, they just zoom in on that and they say, oh, now Trump's changing his mind, and they try to present that as his failure. And they still do try to present, certain things as President Trump's failure. No, it's not failure. It's negotiation. It's being flexible. It's being, open to conversation, open to dialogue. You set a deadline. You tell someone, hey, I need this done by this date. All right, great. But the person comes to you and says, I'm trying my best, but we're going to need some more time. You have to be flexible. In life, in general, you have to be. Now, not all things are, you can't change the date all the time. I mean, there are certain things where you have to be rigid. But that's where your judgment comes in. You know what you can be flexible on, and you know what you don't have any room for flexibility. As a leader, that's what you do. You analyze situations and circumstances, and you make the best decision possible. Teresa Ross is here. Teresa, so good to see you. Teresa is here. Teresa has been supporting this channel, as I've said before, since day one. Okay, my friends. So please say hello to Teresa. She has been supporting this channel and the live streams since day one. I remember. I'll never forget. Teresa Ross, thank you for being here. And Scott Wells is here. Hello, Scott. Thank you, Scott, for being here. Did I see Scott's name? I think I did. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone else? Adeline. Adeline. Is that how I pronounce it? Adeline? Thank you for being here, Adeline. So my friends, I'm going to talk about international trade. Obviously, that's what I'm doing. Scott Wells, thank you. So whatever President Trump is trying to do, there are the positive voices and there are the negative voices. Who are the negative voices? The Democrats in Washington. They are the negative voices, okay? They are trying to look for every opportunity to find a flaw, okay, in the Trump administration. That's what they are looking for. They are looking for flaws. They are looking for opportunities to criticize the Trump administration. That's what the Democrats are doing. Debbie is here. Hello, Debbie. Debbie is watching from Arkansas. Awesome. Debbie, thanks for being here. Arkansas is a great state. So, my friends, there's been a major development, and I'm talking about the trade deal that President Trump announced, the trade deal with European Union, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Give me 1 second, my friends. Give me 1 second. I need to pause a little bit here. Okay. Wow, I just see our friend here joining, Brian from Brian from Pennsylvania, right? From Lancaster. So good to see you, Brian. That's the screen name, Air Force USA. Uh, that's the screen name. But that's Brian. Brian, good to see you. Thanks for being. It's been a while. So, my friends, this trade deal, Evelyn, yes, I did get a haircut. I got a haircut today. How is it? Is it good? I think it's good. I mean, I wanted it to be short, but not too short. So it's kind of short on the sides. It's not too short on the top. Um, but yes, I did get a haircut. Oh, thank you. All right. Evelyn says sorry for. No, you don't have to be sorry. No, no. Hey, listen, um I'm not giving a speech on a stage. So you can interrupt me as many times as you want, all right? That's fine. Okay. So this trade deal that President Trump announced with the European Union, this may be one of the biggest accomplishments in international relations since the start of the second Trump presidency. President Trump visited Europe. He's in Europe. He met with the president of the European Commission. And I gotta tell you, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing her name. Okay, it's a name that I may not be able to pronounce properly, but it's Ursula von der Leyen. I think that's what it is. I'll just refer to her as the president of the European Commission. So President Trump met with the president of European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. It was a very significant meeting. Undoubtedly, I don't have to tell you that. You understand. I mean, you got the president of the most powerful country in the world, Donald Trump. And then you have the president of the massive European Commission. So whatever is decided when these two leaders meet, anytime these two leaders are meeting, whatever conversation takes place between the two of them and their teams, that decision will have significant impacts on the overall system of international trade. Whatever deal is reached between the US and the EU, that deal will have ripple effects all over the world. And so when President Trump and the European Commission president met, the eyes of the world were on that meeting. The entire world was watching. We were all watching. I was watching. We were all watching. The world was watching. And then finally, the announcement came. The announcement that we have all been waiting for. The announcement that the American people have been waiting for. The announcement that workers and businesses were waiting for. A trade deal has been reached. President Trump announced in front of the cameras, he said, and I quote, he said, and I quote, "We have good news." End quote. He said, "We have good news." That's it. It set the stage for whatever he said afterwards. But the first thing he said, "We have good news." And he said, "We have reached a deal." The future is bright, as Evelyn stated very clearly in the live chat. You got to look at what Evelyn wrote. Evelyn wrote, "The future is looking bright." I agree. My friends, do you agree with Evelyn? Evelyn is saying the future is looking bright. If you agree with Evelyn, just say, "I agree with Evelyn." Yes, the future is looking bright. My friends, a deal with the European Union, a deal that we have been waiting for very, very eagerly. The American people, the American employers and the employees and the businesses, entrepreneurs, everyone waiting for, and the investors too. The investors, talk about the markets, talk about Dow Jones, talk about S&P, talk about NASDAQ. I mean, all the investors, they were eagerly waiting for this deal. And when President Trump said, "We have good news," that was it. Good news. A deal that we need, a deal that we want. And this is a deal to strengthen the bond between the United States and the European Union. And the world will read about this deal. They already are. Newspapers all over the world publishing news about this trade deal. People are turning pages. People are scrolling on their computer screens and scrolling on their phones, reading the details of this trade deal. The world is going to learn about this trade deal, a great deal between the US and the EU. President Trump said that it's a good deal for everybody. That is so important. That is so important. Whenever a deal is reached anywhere on anything, the first question is, okay, there's a deal. Who's going to benefit from this? Let's say two companies, private companies. We're not even talking countries. We're just talking about two private companies. They sit down, their CEOs and their vice presidents, they sit down in a conference room, they talk, and they come to a deal. And the question is, who's going to benefit from the deal? What is the deal about? What does the deal include? Who's going to benefit? And in this case, we're talking about the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, coming to a deal with the European Union. What a massive union that one is. A union of many countries. And naturally, the question is, who's going to benefit? And President Trump answered that question even before somebody could ask it. He said, it's a great deal for everybody. It's a great deal for everybody. So if you are an American and you're watching this, okay, wherever you are, you may be in the East Coast, you may be in the West Coast, you may be someone in the mountain area, you may be in the Midwest, wherever you are, you're watching this video and you are an American. The US flag is your flag. If you are an American, you have every reason to be happy. You have every reason to be happy. Where are you from? Brian just wrote East Coast. Where are you from? Where are you watching from? I know Frank is watching from Florida. I know Bree is watching from Michigan, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Evelyn is watching from Las Vegas. We got Kay Cooper watching from the great state of Texas. A very, very special state, Texas. Always will be. Texas is always special. Texas is different. It's special. No matter where we are, we say one thing, Texas is special. So wherever you're watching from, my friends, if you are an American, if you love the United States, if you want to see our country succeed, if you want to see our economy grow, if you want to see economic growth, if you want more jobs and more opportunities and better wages and better salaries and more investment, and you just want a thriving economy, you have every reason to be happy. Every reason to be happy. And who's here? I see our friend AC Cruz just joined from Arizona. AC, always wonderful to see you. Our friend from Arizona is here, AC. Thank you, AC. We got freedom-loving Americans in this live chat. freedom-loving Americans in this live chat, and we are all happy. I know there are many things going on in life, many things, globally, there are many challenges. Absolutely. I mean, the world is not a perfect place. There are always problems. In your personal lives, you may be dealing with issues. We all have personal lives. We all have different challenges we face. It could be a tough deadline. It could be financial setback. It could be health problems. It could be relationship issues. It could be anything and everything, whatever. Maybe you're having a hard time dealing with the weather, the extreme heat. You got the heat warning, right, in the news. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, my friends, I want you to understand one thing. We are part of this great country, the greatest country in the world. So no matter where we are, no matter how we are, we should always feel proud. Feel proud of being an American. Okay. And just thank God that God gave us this amazing country that we call home, the United States of America. Right? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me, my friends? So, no matter what's happening around you, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what obstacles, what challenges you're dealing with, just be happy that you are an American. Just be proud, really. And I mean it. Evelyn is saying, I'm very proud to be an American. Kay Cooper is saying, I'm a very proud American. Bree is saying, yes, I agree with Tassif. Thank you. Thank you so much, friends. So it's a good deal for everybody. And President Trump said, a giant deal with lots of countries, something that I mentioned. This is not just a bilateral trade agreement, the United States signing an agreement with some other country. No, I mean, those bilateral agreements are great, but this is the United States coming to an agreement, arriving at a trade deal with a group of countries, with a massive group of countries. So the EU has many countries, and President Trump said, by the way, let me pause for a second. Okay, I'm reading different comments, I'm reading different comments. By the way, my cup here says, let the adventure begin. Huh? Isn't that awesome? Let the adventure begin. Did you see that? That's what my cup says. Let the adventure begin. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay. All right. So President Trump said, now going into the details of the trade deal, President Trump said, and I quote, we are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%, end quote. This is great. This is great. People always want some certainty when it comes to tariffs. As I've said before, tariffs are a useful tool that can be used for negotiation. Announcing tariffs helps bring countries to the table for discussion. And tariffs can also generate a lot of revenue. Do you love revenue? Do you love more revenue? Tariffs can generate a lot of revenue, okay? But I do understand, listen, I do understand whenever we talk about tariffs, some people get really excited and happy. And there are those who, they're not as happy, okay? They feel a little uncertain, especially when the process is dynamic, when you impose a tariff, but You set an effective date, but then you may change the tariff figure, or you may move the date. There's uncertainty, and I understand that it bothers some people. Okay, some businesses may not like the uncertainty associated with imposing tariffs and all that. But you know what? Now we are reaching a point of stability. We're reaching a point of certainty because a trade deal has been reached. All right. And also remember, all over the world, countries have been imposing tariff and non tariff barriers on us. Before you criticize tariffs, which, I understand viewpoints. I understand those who love tariffs. I understand those who criticize tariffs. I get it. I did study economics. I get it. All right. But you also have to understand that we have been treated very, very unfairly for a very long period of time. Okay, when President Trump decided to impose tariffs, everyone started talking about it. But what about the fact that so many countries around the world, they not only imposed tariffs on us, on American products, but they also imposed non-tariff barriers. Okay? I mean, tariffs are not the only thing. There are also non-tariff barriers. So, for example, if you are an American business and you want to do, business in, let's say, India, right? You want to do business in India. You want to set up an operation, a factory or whatever in India, and you want to produce there. You want to sell goods, American-made goods to India. India may impose tariff, or India may also have such lengthy licensing and permitting procedures, which then prevents you from doing business. I mean, if you have to wait for months and years or whatever, a long period of time, and if you have to jump through different barriers to get your permit, to get your license, to get your authorization to do a business, then that's a non-tariff barrier. It's not a direct tariff, but it's a lengthy mechanism that countries often set up to discourage American businesses from selling American products to those countries. Okay, that's how they protect their local industries, local producers. So there are these tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers, and we have been the victim. We, the United States of America, we have been the victim for a very, very long time, and now President Trump is fighting back. He's fighting back, and I understand, once again, that some people get really nervous hearing about tariffs, but you know what? That uncertainty is going away now. We're reaching a point of stability and certainty because of these trade deals. All right? So tariffs must be used wisely, and President Trump has very wisely used tariffs for initiating conversations with other countries. As soon as he announced the tariffs, countries started calling us, the United States, and started coming to the table. When President Trump started announcing tariffs, like tariff of 30%, 35%, 10%, 20%, all these countries who otherwise would probably not be too inclined to enter negotiations regarding trade, because, as I said, a lot of those countries were winning, given the terms that we had originally. They were winning, we were losing. So they didn't have the incentive to come to the table to negotiate and renegotiate. But as soon as President Trump announced tariffs, all those countries started calling up and saying, we want to negotiate. What can we do? We want to negotiate. So tariffs prompted those countries to come to the table to negotiate and renegotiate. And my friends, there's no doubt that our country has been treated very unfairly in international trade, and we have to correct those past unfair treatments. And so President Trump used tariffs for negotiation, And finally, we are seeing the great results. Results are pouring in, results of those negotiations. So the agreement reached between the US and the EU includes a 15% tariff on most European goods entering the US, including automobiles. Um, and the other thing I want to highlight, is the fact that President Trump always brings in investments. Whenever he's negotiating with a country, he's always bringing in investments. Through his skills in negotiation and deal making, he's bringing in investments. And reportedly, the European Union will invest $600 billion in the US. That's $600 billion more than what they're investing already. So the European Union has investments in the US. They invest money in the US. This is $600 billion on top of already existing investments. This is major. 600 billion. How many zeros are there? Quiz question. How many zeros are there in 600 billion? My conservative friends, they know the answer. How many zeros are there in 600 billion? Okay, but some folks on the left, they may not know the answer. Some of the folks on the left, they may not know the answer. 600 billion, yeah? That's a lot of money. I love it. How many zeros are there? So my friends, President Trump said that the European Union will open up the countries to trade at zero tariff. Eric is here. Hello, Eric. Terry Bryan is here. Hello, Terry Bryan. And there are others. Who did I miss? JC is saying, learn how to pronounce your words. All right, okay. What am I going to have to learn, JC? I don't know. Learn how to pronounce your words. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Selena is here. Hi, Selena. Good to see you. Good to see you, Selena. So President Trump said that the European Union will open up the countries to trade at zero tariff. All of the countries will be open to trade with the US at zero tariffs. This is major. This is major. And you know what? There's something else I need to tell you. You're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. What I'm about to tell you now, you're going to love. I like to pause every now and then, like, all right, just relax a little bit. Wait a few seconds. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath and enjoy the moment, the victory. Just absorb the joy of having a great leader in the White House. Absorb, like, feel the joy, experience the happiness of having an amazing cabinet. President Trump's cabinet. Experience the happiness of having amazing Republican leaders in Washington. We got great Republican leaders. Yeah, we do. In the Senate, in the House, we have great leaders. Republicans. Evelyn is saying so much winning. Absolutely, Evelyn. So much winning. And we're just getting started. Approximately 6 months in, a little over 6 months. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. My friends, the next thing I'm about to tell you, you're going to be very happy. The next thing is the European Union will purchase American energy. Did you hear what I said? The EU, the European Union, will buy American energy. I mean, think about liquefied natural gas. Think about oil. Think about energy, American energy. And the European Union, I am very, very confident they are going to benefit greatly from buying energy from the United States of America. Energy is something that countries should import from reliable sources. Because, a lot depends on energy. So much depends on energy. Your economy, transportation, your factories, your schools, your places of work. I mean, everything depends on energy. So if the European Union is looking for a reliable energy source, that's the United States of America. If the European Union wants to buy energy from other countries, then the US is where you should buy from. The United States of America and the US is a reliable source, global leader, and you know what? We have a lot of energy to sell. We have a lot of energy to sell. We are energy rich country. We are. Yes. The left is not going to tell you that. I'm telling you that. We are energy rich. We are blessed as a country. So we have energy to sell, and the European Union will be better off buying energy from the United States of America. And also, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you one more thing, which is going to make you very, very happy. It's like, listen, this is a day for good news. This is a day when I share with you wonderful updates. Okay. The European Union, get ready for this. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? The European Union will also buy American military equipment. That number, that dollar figure, like how much they're going to buy, what that dollar figure is going to be, I don't think it has been determined yet. I don't have that information. But as President Trump highlighted, U.S. military equipment is the best in the world. Simon is here. Simon is our friend from South Africa. Simon, great to see you. Thanks for being here, Simon. Thank you. So, my friends, great things are happening, and Americans should be happy. Americans should be celebrating today. That's right, celebrate. We are winning, and so you must enjoy the victory. Yes, I'm talking to you. You, my friends, you must enjoy the victory. And here's what the president of the European Commission said. She said that President Trump is a tough negotiator, but he's also a deal maker. A tough negotiator, but also a deal maker. Yes, he is. President Trump is making deals all over the world. Deal with Japan, deal with Indonesia, deal with Philippines. And what about Vietnam? Trump, our president, has also reached a trade deal with Vietnam, and President Trump also reached a trade deal with the United Kingdom. You heard about this, right? The United States, United Kingdom economic prosperity deal. Tangerine is here. Hi, Tangerine. Tangerine, good to see you. Eric is writing, everybody benefits. Absolutely, Eric. And this is something I've been trying to explain to people. And I know my friends here understand this, but people on the left, they don't seem to understand, or maybe they do, but they still pretend that they don't understand. Or they understand completely, but they just deny. They don't want to tell you that they understand. You know what? Everyone benefits. Every American is going to benefit from all of this. All right? Every American, especially if you are a middle class American, or let's say you're struggling in this economy because we're still suffering from the effects of the Biden economy. So a lot of people are still struggling, still trying to recover from the losses they faced during the Biden Harris administration. So these trade deals will greatly benefit the hardworking Americans. Greatly. I tell you that, and I'm not the only one who's going to tell you that. There are a lot of experts out there who study these things all the time, 24/7. That's what they do. They prioritize and they focus on international trade. They keep track of international trade. They keep track of, whatever negotiations are taking place between countries, how goods are moving from one part of the world to the other, they study international transportation and shipping, and they look at different things that are bought and sold all over the world, agriculture, technology, manufacturing, different sectors. Those people will also tell you the same, that hardworking Americans are going to benefit from this kind of trade deal. Okay. Tangerine is writing TTTT, which means Tosif tells the truth. Thank you, Tangerine. Okay. Thank you. So, my friends, the president of the European Commission said that we have a deal between the two largest economies in the world, and that is something you have to keep in mind. Two largest economies in the world. President Ursula von der Leyen said it's a big deal, it's a huge deal, it will bring stability. That's what we want, stability. We want certainty, we want stability. There are lots of moving parts right now, lots of trade deals taking place, lots of negotiation taking place, tariffs being announced and tariffs being delayed and tariff numbers being changed. We've been through all that because it's part of the process. You got to do all that to bring stability. And finally, stability is within reach. Stability is heading towards us. We are going to soon have stability in the economy. And President Trump said that this deal will bring the United States and the European Union closer together. The bond between the US and the EU will strengthen as a result of this trade deal. My friends, this is great. And I got a question here in the live chat for those who have not seen it yet. I got a question in the live chat. I'm conducting a poll. And the question is, are you happy with the way President Trump is reaching trade deals with other countries? Are you happy? So far, 75% of the respondents said yes. 75% of the respondents said yes. Bree is writing yes, yes, yes. Are you happy with the way President Trump is reaching trade deals with other countries? I think he's doing great. Charisse is here. Charisse, so wonderful. Charisse says, hello, glad I made it before the end. Charisse, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. That's our friend Charisse who just joined. And What a great day. What a great day. Trade deals. Deal maker. He is the deal maker. The art of the deal. DSAR is here. Hello, DSAR. So good to see you. Now, DSAR, I'm trying to remember what your real name is. You had mentioned a name, I believe, which I'm sorry I can't remember right now, but if I remember correctly, you are from uh Santa Fe. DSAR is Donald. All right. So DSAR, are you from Santa Fe? That much I do remember, if I'm not mistaken. You're from Santa Fe, New Mexico. DSAR says yes. See, I remember that one, Santa Fe. Um, thank you. Thanks for being here. Donald. DSAR is Donald. Now, we cannot forget that name, Donald, right? That's the name of our president. So I'm going to very easily remember next time, DSAR. Your name is Donald. Thank you. All right. Give me 1 second, my friends. Mm, give me 1 second, please. All right. Okay, let's continue. So, President Trump also praised the staff of the European Commission president. And that's one very important thing, I think. The staff who work behind the scenes, they work really hard on both sides. On the European Union side, on the United States side, there are a lot of staff members who work behind the scenes these are people you don't get to see. There are analysts and there are advisors and there are different people, support staff, um, people managing different projects. There are lots of staff members who work behind the scenes. And when you look at the screen, you see the president, you see the cabinet members, you see the leaders. But also remember that these leaders have staff who work day and night behind the scenes, and they also deserve a lot of praise. And that's why President Trump, he praised the staff of the European Commission president. But also, my friends, it is important to also recognize the staff on the American side, the U.S. Uh, government officials. For example, like you pick any cabinet member. Okay, let's pick Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. You see Marco Rubio on camera making speeches and having conversations, answering questions, stating clearly the positions of the US government, the Trump administration. You see Marco Rubio on camera, on stage. But behind the scenes, there's a huge staff at the State Department. And that staff, those staff members, they also work very hard. And there are staff members in every department, Treasury, State, Homeland Security, um, you know, so they also work very hard, and they also need good leadership. And the leadership comes from President Trump and his cabinet. So I think it's important to also thank the staff for all their hard work. Right? Would you agree with me? The people you don't get to see, the people who are behind the scenes doing a lot of hard work and making the process successful. All right. So, my friends, now the process continues. There was a question from a reporter about what the next deal might be? Well, there's anticipation. What is going to be the next deal that President Trump talks about? What is going to be the next deal? I mean, are we going to see over the next couple of days? Are we going to see President Trump come in front of the cameras and say, we have reached a deal and here's the deal with some other country? There's a lot of anticipation, undoubtedly. A series of awesome deals are yet to come. I'm very hopeful, and I hope that you are also very hopeful. My friends, what do you think the Democrats are saying right now? I mean, we're celebrating here. We are happy. We are optimistic. We are eagerly looking forward to future deals. But what do you think that the Democrats are saying right now? How are they feeling? How are the Democrats feeling when they look at the success of the Trump administration? Are they happy? Are they sad? What about Chuck Schumer? Is he happy? What about Nancy Pelosi? What about Hakeem Jeffries? What about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez? What about Gavin Newsom? What about Bernie Sanders? Are they happy? Are they happy when they see Donald J. Trump and his administration winning, winning, winning? How are the Democrats going to react? Tell me, my friends. Tell me. How are the Democrats going to react? Tanupriya is here. Hello, Tanupriya. Um, Tanupriya is asking, what are your thoughts on the student loan repayment? Well, if students have borrowed money, they should be paying it back. It's very simple. Okay. It's not just about student loans, it's about really any loan. You borrow money, you got to pay it back. Now, I do understand people can run into situations that they didn't anticipate. There could be financial struggles. There could be maybe a catastrophic, health problem, which results in huge medical bills and all that. I mean, people have circumstances that they face, but the general idea is that you've borrowed money, you paid back. All right, you borrowed money to go to school, you paid back. That's what it is. All right. Now, I do know that there are um, different payment plans. You can pay off the student loans faster, maybe make big payments every month, or you can probably extend the process over a longer period of time. So that may reduce your monthly payment, but who knows? Maybe you'll end up paying more in interest. I don't know. It's a lot of math you got to do to figure out what works best for you. But that's the general idea. You've borrowed money, you paid back. All right, very simple. Um, all right, so those are my thoughts, Tanupriya. So, my friends, uh, I'm really very grateful for all your support. Whenever we're doing these live streams. Oh, okay. James is saying we need to be talking about AI. Okay, artificial intelligence. Uh, very different topic, very complex topic. We will not be able to talk about AI today. Definitely not. All right. Um, and most importantly, because I'm wrapping up this live stream now, it's already 1 hour, and I'm gonna have to wrap it up because tomorrow morning I'm gonna have a very busy time. All right. Um, okay. So thank you so very much. We're not going to be able to cover AI, but obviously artificial intelligence is an important topic that hopefully we'll have conversations about this topic soon, I guess. I can't make a promise, but AI will eventually at some point we're going to talk about AI. There's no doubt about that. So, that's it for now. So my friends, thank you all so very much. What I'm going to do before I wrap up the live stream, I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to end the poll and report the result. The question is, are you happy with the way President Trump is reaching trade deals with other countries? 64 votes, 73% said yes. All right. 73% said yes. So overwhelmingly, people are happy with the way President Trump is reaching trade deals with other countries. So thank you, my friends. That's all I have. Just be happy, be optimistic, be hopeful, look forward to a brighter future individually and as a country. Okay, let's look forward to better and brighter days. Okay, let's think positive, let's be hopeful, and let's work hard. Okay, if you just dream, if you just imagine, if you just hope but you don't work hard, we're not going to be successful. So you got to work hard in your own personal life, in your profession. You got to work hard, because when you work hard, it helps you feel better. It creates a better career pathway for you. But then as you are progressing in your career, in your life, you are also contributing to the growth and success of the United States of America. So if you are successful in your own personal life, in your professional life, that success will help the country as a whole be successful. So we have to give our 100% every day. We have to be hopeful, optimistic, and then, if you are a person of faith, you got to pray, all right? Whatever God you worship, okay, whatever religious book you follow, okay, whatever your faith is, if you are a person of faith, pray, okay? Believe in the power of prayers. I do, absolutely. So pray for um our personal success, pray for our collective success as a country. Okay, my friends, thank you so very much. I appreciate you all a lot. Thank you. I'm going to be wrapping up this live stream. I wish I could go on longer, but I just have to try to get some sleep so I can wake up in the morning and experience a busy day. It's going to be a busy day in the morning, so I need to get some sleep. That's why I'm wrapping this up. But I appreciate each and every one of you, my friends. May God bless you all. May God may God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republican leaders in Washington and across the country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom loving people all over the world. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to wrap up this live stream. I love each and every one of you. You are all wonderful. Thank you, my friends. I'm so blessed to have each and every one of you in my life. Thank you. I'm going to wrap this up now, but I'll be back again very soon. So please subscribe, stay connected, like this video, share this video. And you know what? You can go watch some of my old videos. Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Let's have this little exercise. Go back and watch some of my really old videos. I'm just gonna tell you what those videos are. Go watch some of my videos from like 2017, okay, and 2018, um, and 2019. I've I've done a lot of speeches, and some of those videos are on my YouTube channel from 2017, from 2018, 2019. Okay. You can, you can probably compare like how I have evolved as a public speaker, how I have changed, whether I've improved or not, you can determine. But you go to my channel, you can check out the videos, you sort them by date, and you look through the oldest videos and leave a comment. Okay, just do it. All right. I mean, you can see some of these videos that I have, speaking at a Republican Party of Dane County's 2017 caucus and nationalization ceremony, spoke at a Republican Women of Dane County event, and um, a, U.S. Senate forum in Wisconsin. I did the Pledge of Allegiance. So we're going back to like 2017, 2018, 2019. Please watch those videos, okay? The live streams I started doing in 2024. So you're not going to find live streams older than like, 2 years or a year and a half. But you're going to find videos, old ones. So just so I know that you've watched those videos, please make sure that you leave a comment. All right. Leave a comment. Whenever you watch a video, an old one, leave a comment. That way I will know that you've watched it. You don't have to watch too many videos. I know takes up a lot of time, but just maybe like two or three if you can, or maybe just for a few minutes. You don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. Anyway, I've explained enough. I thank you all. I hope you're gonna watch some of my old videos. All right, just go and look at a much younger Tausif. How about that? Just do that. A much younger Tausif with all dark hair. I didn't have the grays back then. Go back to 2017. You're not gonna see all these gray that you see now. You're not going to see all these gray if you watch my old videos. So take a look at a much younger Tausif. All right. Okay. Thank you so very much, my friends. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Have a great night, and I'm going to be back again soon. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you. Bye bye.